Okay, part 2 of the talk on the bug out bag. I was talking about leather gloves before my power cut out. So, pair of leather gloves, lots of uses for it. Like I said, cooking gear, setting up camp, rugged terrain, going through the bushes, whatever it is, good to have them. Gets cold. I carry at least 2 of these platypus water sacks. This allows me to carry an extra like 4 liters of water, plus my 2 water bottles. I can take water back up to camp, and that's one of the primary uses for it. If you're a ways from a water source, you can fill these platypuses up and take them back to camp, so you have camp water to wash your stuff or boil extra water or cook with. It's a good way to just have that extra water that you can just fill up. They're pretty tough bags. I don't like to drink out of them. I like to use water bottles. I like to be able to see how much I have. I like to be able to just scoop it down in a river and fill it up. These are kind of a hassle, but I think they are good for expanding your water supply, or if you got to go a long ways through hot country, you got more water. Platypus. The bottom of this pack is full of paracord and a few other kinds of cordage. I have a separate bag. I like lots of different bags to separate everything out. I do cut my lengths of paracord ahead of time. I cut like half a dozen little 6-foot lengths. I think the 6-foot length, or just you can measure it out roughly your arm width across. Cut that out, and those are excellent replacements for boot laces. If you're going out into the wilderness, or you got your boots set aside, you can always restring your boot laces with paracord, so that you have always that paracord on you. It has many uses. It has all the 7 internal strands. But I cut it in the 6-foot lengths for repairing backpack straps, or strapping sleeping bags to the bottom of a pack. There's lots of uses for pre-cut and with the ends melted, ready to go, 6-foot lengths of paracord. I found that to be a useful length. I also use it as tent stakes, making loops on things so I can tie to other objects. It's just a variety of uses for a short length like that. And then I jump to about a 25-foot length, where I take 4 or 5 arm lengths. I think about 5 arm lengths of paracord. I find that 20 feet is too short, so you don't want to do just like 4 arm lengths. That's not quite enough. You want to go to that 5 or 6 arm lengths of cordage. That's a good distance. The 20 feet just seems, at least in this part of the country, to be too short, and I use the 25 to 30 foot sections of rope a lot for stringing my hammock up, tying off the trees, laundry lines, just a variety of things. So if you're going to pre-cut your lengths, that's what I've found to be useful: 6-foot lengths and about 25-foot lengths, and then 60-foot lengths to 100-foot lengths. Those are just seems to be the lengths that work for me. I don't just keep it all in one big 300 or 1,000-foot roll or something, because then the temptation is to cut little chunks all the time, and you end up with a bunch of odds and end, weird, long, short little chunks, and those aren't as useful. And so I found that these lengths pre-cut were pretty good. So I do that. I do carry a survival knife. I have never been a big fan of large survival knives, but I found this one and I just fell in love with it. It is the Cold Steel Bushman. I have a review on it online. Check it out if you want to know more. We made it into a spear, so it has multiple purposes for your bug out kit. If you're against firearms and stuff and you don't want projectiles, you slap this knife on the end of a broom handle, and someone's going to be pretty wacky to come rushing up on you to try to take your stuff, unless they're just going to shoot you for it, because it's pretty scary looking having a spear on the end of a stick. So you can take your walking stick and quickly become a lethal weapon. So I also carry a couple little extra things in there. I have a lighter and a sharpening stone, and a piece of artificial sinew, which is a leather worker's line. And down in the center of this roll of sinew is a needle, leather worker's needle. And it has lots of uses, just tons of uses for a needle. So stitch up your clothes, stitch up anything. You can even magnetize it and use it as a makeshift compass, though I have 2 or 3 compasses in this setup here. So I have one survival knife, and I do carry a multi-tool. I think that a multi-tool has so many uses. Those pliers, a million uses for the pliers. So between this and a multi-tool, you're in a pretty good setup. I should get a multi-tool that is just for this pack. I'd probably get that Gerber diesel. It looks like it's got file and saw and pliers, and those are some of the things you really need. So that one looks pretty slick. I carry maps, topographical maps. Road maps are all right, but you'll have roads listed on topographical maps. I like the green trail maps. They're super easy to read, and they're a high quality paper. They have map sealant that you can put on them so that they are waterproofed. The paper is a little bit more like cloth than paper these maps are made of. They're top quality. They're $5 or $6, and you can really tell where you are with a map like this. GPS and all that's fine, but those all have tracking devices in them, and they have batteries that can fail. You could drop it one time and that's it. You know, you run out of battery power or whatever, EMP that knocks that stuff out, and it's no good for anything. I like good old-fashioned maps. Plastic bag for them. I did not have it in a plastic bag, but I should have one. Okay. I carry my sleeping bag. I've got it down here in the bottom of my pack. If you have the room, I find a lot of times that the stuff sacks are unnecessary. What I did was I opened up the pack. It has a chamber in the center that separates it from the top to the bottom, and I opened that up so it's just one solid tube. And I put the sleeping bag in the bottom, and I put it in a plastic bag, so that if the bottom of the bag gets wet, which often happens, I don't run the risk of my sleeping bag getting wet. It's a heavy-duty 55-gallon trash bag, and you put that in there, and then you can just kind of set it and forget it. And I ended up using the stuff sack for other things. I don't know. It's just one of the things I've started doing, where if you don't need the space, just put it in the bottom of your pack, and you know, it seems to cushion the load. And I've just been doing it. It seems to be working for me. I'm starting to think the stuff sacks are a little overrated, and they kind of crush the bags, and they start to lose their fluff after a while. So this is something I've been trying out. So I have a relatively lightweight sleeping bag. I think it's a 35-degree bag, because I carry a wool blanket, and I put that on the inside of it if it gets colder, and you know, that helps to warm it up. If you have another person with you, check your sleeping bags when you buy sleeping bags or when you go out together, because a lot of the zippers are made by the same company, and a lot of the zippers are the same size and are interchangeable, so you can actually join 2 bags. And if you have 2 even like 40-degree bags, and you get 2 people in a 1 bag, man, it is so much warmer. You have a lot more room. And or if you have a dog with you and you're in a cold condition, get that dog in the bag. It totally amplifies the amount of heat in your bag. You can take a relatively cool bag and make it extremely warm with a second person or an animal. So bonus if you have a dog, or maybe even a cat. Getting a cat to sleep in your sleeping bag and on a really cold night, and it might save your life. If you happen to have a cat in your backpack, or you trained your cat to walk along with you. But yeah, I guess that happens. Mountain money, toilet paper. You know, use it very sparingly. This is an excellent barter and trade item. You get out there for a while, and people are going to want that toilet paper. Don't lose it. Keep it in a plastic bag. Don't get it wet. And this is my bug out bag kit, and I do not carry much in the way of a first aid kit in this one. I think you can cut up a shirt to make a bandage, or to wrap your ankle up. If your t-shirt has to be sacrificed to fix an injury or a wound, so be it. I have rubbing alcohol. I can make alcohol swabs out of a t-shirt and clean myself off if I need to. Sterilize a wound. I have in here, it's my little med kit. I have Neosporin. This is a variety of pills, some Alka-Seltzer and Pepto-Bismol and all that kind of antacids, and a pair of tweezers, the sharp tweezers, not the flat ones. Or you can take another pair of tweezers and sharpen them down until they're a needle point. I find that the sharp tweezers are much more useful than a lot of the flat tweezers. A lot of people, I had 2 or 3 different kinds of tweezers in my bag, and everyone kept going for these pointy ones when they get splinters and slivers. So when you're looking for tweezers, look for super sharp ones. So just a little leather case I made, nothing special, junk. I just stuffed the few extra things that I carry as far as medical supplies in there. Don't need too much. A lot of bandages and stuff, I don't know that you need them. I think you can make do with a t-shirt. I do have a titanium spork. I figure, works out, doesn't fall into the pot. It's the right size. So I got one of those. Honestly, the spork points don't scrape the bottom too well, so you get a little bit of burning. I kind of wish it was off to one side maybe a little bit, or I don't know. Maybe the spork is junk. I don't know. It works. It's a spoon. Any spoon will do. I think a spoon is more useful than anything else. You don't need a fork or, a little cooking knife set. You just need a spoon. Little extra toilet paper. Another bag. I have, this is attached to my pack, and it's like a little keychain of stuff. You can throw it around your neck if you need to. It has a headlamp on it, a compass, a ferrocerium rod, and a whistle. And I have that just hooked in my bag so that if it's dark and I'm fumbling around and my bag tips over, this is always attached, and I can turn my light on and see what's going on and find my other headlamp. I have 2 headlamps. This is the one I use on myself, my person, all the time. Spend $20 at a good hiking store, get a decent headlamp. Do not buy an $8 Kmart special or whatever store. Don't go to a hiking place, a hiking store that specializes in hiking gear, and buy a real headlamp. You don't have to spend a fortune on it, but buy a real headlamp. I like AAA batteries for all my headlamps, all my gear. I try to keep the same battery, all AAAs. When there's a disaster or an emergency, you'll notice that all the AA's and the D's and the C's, they're all cleared out. There's none of those left in the stores, even after a blackout for 3 or 4 days. But there'll still be AAA's, the little weird AAA's. There'll still be plenty of those laying around. So I stock up on AAA's, and that's what I take. And rechargeable. Spend the money and get rechargeable AAA's. I had a solar charger. It failed, so I gotta try another one. But that's something on my list, is that all my tech will have rechargeable batteries and the same battery, hopefully. So I carry a little extra garden twine, just 200 feet in a little tiny roll. And for building shelters and stuff, if you want to build something and not have to worry about it, I don't even have to worry about leaving plastic in the woods. It's just a natural material that'll break down. So if I wanted to leave my shelter set up for a while and not tie all my important paracord up in a wilderness shelter, I could still have all my paracord and build my wilderness shelter from disposable twine. I think it's good to have something like that, just disposable string that you don't have to worry about, inexpensive stuff. I carry on the top of my pack, very easy to get to, a pair of the rubber hand palm garden gloves that are everywhere. I've worked outside for most of my life, and I use variations of these kinds of gloves most of my life, and most of them are cotton, and as soon as they get wet, they get really, really cold. In fact, it's much warmer to just take the gloves off, and your hands will actually be warmer um, of the cotton ones. And they make synthetic ones now. These blaze orange ones are synthetic, and they're fantastic. So look for that. Don't get the cotton ones. Get the synthetic ones. I got these for $3. You can get them. They range from $6 or $7 to, like I said, I got this for $3. These are one of the most ideal pairs of gloves to use. I use them all the time. I use my leather gloves for certain work, and this for other work. That's what I carry. A pair of sunglasses, cheap safety glasses. If you're ever up in the mountains in the snow, you will definitely need them. If you're up there for any length of time, you can get snow blind. It's a real thing. Check it out. So just cheap, disposable. Don't worry about it. Just some kind of shade for hot sun, bright sun. I just think that's something you need. I have a really good edible plants guide. It has 4